Here we are.
How's it
Welcome,
going?
everyone. Welcome. Hey. We're live. Rhett, you there? Yep.
I
You
am
hear me?
here.
All right. Sweet. Live and ready to go. So we're getting going here on our Carnivore Brothers channel. Welcome to those who are watching this. We've got a awesome special guest tonight that we're so excited to have. So we're gonna get going on that. Before we do, Rhett, how are things going? You doing well?
Doing well, man. It's been busy as usual, but hanging out with carnivores is a lot of fun these days. That's what we do.
No doubt.
I spend most of my evenings hanging out with carnivores these days.
What's the crazy shirt you got on?
That's my Cowboys, baby. Let's see. There you go.
Loud and
Even
proud.
after the loss to Philly, I can handle it.
Hey, they played
Gotta
well.
support.
It was a good game. It was a good game.
I
They
felt like
did
it was game of
well.
the year so far. I got a lot of angry Cowboy friends, but I'm like, man, I thought it was a beautiful game. We put up a good fight, and it was a game of inches for sure.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. They almost came back several times. So hey, well, I don't want to waste any time because we got an awesome guest tonight and I'm super excited. When we first started doing the carnivore lifestyle, Rhett, how did you got in touch with Carnivore Kipp? And I don't know if you reached out to him or he reached out to you initially, but you guys started chit chatting a little bit.
Yeah, when I started, you told me about Homestead How, and I watched Carrie a little bit. And as I was starting to research Carnivore Kit popped up, and I was drawn to his sincerity and how
Yeah.
real, and and man, like I felt like his struggle was my struggle, and I texted him, I'm commenting, I'm like, man, you can do this, like, come on, brother, like I just felt like an instant connection there, and
Yeah.
so. And I feel that, with a lot of carnivores, but now, yeah, Kip, he called me up one day. I left my number, and it took a little bit, and he's a busy man, and he called me up, and I was going to encourage him, and it turned around, and he was just encouraging me in my journey
Yeah.
and stuff, and that's just the kind of guy he is. So I'm really excited about this.
That's awesome. Well, I don't want to wait too long before we bring him on, but I put together just a little short because one of the things that resonated with me was just one of his early videos, and so I clipped a little bit together for those who don't know who Carnivore Kipp is. You will after tonight, and he's awesome. So I'm going to play this video, and then we'll bring him on. So here we go. This is Carnivore Kipp.
Since I cook a lot of barbecue, I really have to be careful too. Like not tomorrow, but Saturday, I'm cooking barbecue for some visitors coming to our church, and I have to, I'm making mac and cheese for that, and I'm doing turkey and smoked sausage. But I have to make sure that, hey, I know that mac and cheese looks good, but what looks even better is being here for your daughter. And whenever it's time for her to dance at her wedding, you're not sitting in a wheelchair because you got one leg amputated. You're not sitting there saying, hey, somebody push me around, because I couldn't get control of my diabetes, and I just said, you know what, the heck with it. My daughter's worth more than that. It took me 29 years to get to this point where I'm like, enough is enough. I tried other diets and failed, but I'm not going to fail this time. I can't fail this time. My bathroom scale has been thanking me the past couple months. It can breathe a little bit better. I can breathe a little bit better. It's just been amazing, guys. I didn't measure myself. Honestly, since I started at almost 500 pounds, I was worried about buying a tailor's tape to measure myself, because I was worried, well, what if it don't fit around me? So I didn't buy measuring tape, but I was on the last loop of my belt whenever I started. Right now, guys, I'm 5 loops in. Eventually, I'm going to need a new belt. I'm going to need a smaller belt. There's something to it, guys. There is something to it. My shoulder, my wife would tell anyone, my shoulder has hurt so bad for like 3 years, probably, maybe 4 years. My shoulder pain has almost completely gone. I can pick it up and move it in ways that there was times before. Now, it's not perfect yet. I still feel a little inflammation in there, but I'll take this any day over having to take ibuprofen all the time and take Tylenol and just hoping that the pain would ease up. The getting ready in the morning is easier. The going to work and not feeling like you have to sit down on your way into work just to catch your breath. If I have this much success in 2 months, I cannot imagine where I'll be in a year. My daughter is my why. I have got to do this to be here for her. She is my flesh and blood. And I have got to stay on this journey because she needs me. She needs me. My wife needs me too, whether she wants to admit it or not. I know she does. She loves me. Just want to say love all y'all. Appreciate all that y'all commented, subscribed, everything. It means the world to me. Thank you and God bless.
Yeah.
Welcome, Kipp.
Well, I just gotta say, dude, when I watch that video now, 'cause I haven't seen that video in a long time. It
Right.
almost brings tears to my eyes
Telling you.
because that,
You've come a
wow,
long way.
yeah,
short period of
and
time.
I feel like I'm a different person now than I was then in that video, and I cannot believe it actually watching it. That's the first time I've seen that video in a long
Really?
time. Wow.
Man, I love it, and I love that was your 2 months in, I think, to your carnivore journey. But and when you started talking about I got to be here for my daughter, that's me, man. I got one daughter, and that's my why too, and I just love that.
Absolutely, man. Hey, look, I appreciate y'all having me on tonight too. Like, thank y'all for inviting me. And I remember that first conversation with Rhett as well. And I mean, it's just good to talk to other people, and because like in our day-to-day lives, we don't or I don't see tons of carnivores in my day-to-day life. And so anytime you get a chance to connect with some other people that are carnivore and encourage each other or whatever, because I mean, so many people are against this way of life, but to be able to have, create connections where we can encourage each other, it's a good thing. And that's why I love not only y'all doing this now, I love seeing all these different channels doing their live streams and things, because like we're building relationships that'll last a lifetime. And it's really powerful, guys. So thank y'all for having me on.
Man, yes, and the honor is ours for sure. The privilege is ours. We both enjoyed watching your journey thus far and getting to know you a little bit better through some of the other stuff that you're doing too, the live streams and other things like that. It's been fun to watch. We watch a lot of
Watching that video we just did, I felt like we need a shirt or something that says 5 loops in, baby, because that's something that hit me too on my weight loss. Is I was on the last loop of my belt, and I was thinking, okay, what do? Grab a screwdriver and a hammer and start making another one, and to throw away that belt and finally get a new one because I didn't have any loops left. It was amazing. It really is a significant measurement.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'll say too, seeing that video, it actually, I mean, it actually fires me up to actually do even better, because since I feel like along the way, from the times that I've slipped up and the times that I've like went off plan and things like that, I've lost a little bit of my fire that I had. And because at one point I was like, you couldn't pay me $100,000 to have a cheat meal or to have an off-plan meal. But then I started letting little cravings show up and thinking about different foods that I shouldn't eat and things like that. And so I haven't been as good in the second half of my journey as I have, as I was in the beginning. And like seeing that video really makes me like be like, you can do better. And because I know that I can do more than what I'm doing right now. Like I know the weight that I lost, I know that I could have lost more than that. And I'm gonna lose more than that, because like no matter how many times I fall, that's what I'm learning. Like even if I fall, I just gotta bounce back up and keep going.
Yeah. Well, none of us are perfect, that's for sure. And I think that's what again drew us to you and so much, that because you're very real, and on your channel you're very real, and you've had slip ups, and you've fully come out and said, hey, I had a slip up, but I'm back on, I'm getting this right. And
and I'm trying to learn because I've always been a person that's very like hard on myself, like very hard on myself, and I'll like beat myself up bad. Like I'll feel so guilty, and I'll beat myself. And I understand it's good to like challenge yourself and be like, hey man, you know you shouldn't do that and stuff like that. But like whenever it gets to the point like it changes your whole mood on not just things with your diet, you just start feeling lazy in general because you had a cheat meal or whatever, and I'm trying to learn to like not let it affect me to that point. Like if I have a slip up, don't let it be all week long I'm feeling down on myself and
Yeah.
still eating, Popeye's chicken sandwich, but get back up like the next morning, just bounce right back to it and forgive myself. Like forgive myself and just move past it instead of sitting there dwelling on it and all that. Cause once it happens, I can't change it. But I can
Yep.
definitely make it worse if I just keep wallowing in it and just go down
Right.
this downhill spiral. So that's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to work on.
Good, good. And I think that's one of the things, and I don't know, you maintain a lot more on your channel and comments and everything else. So, but what we've seen, at least thus far, is just nothing but positivity for most of the carnivore community. I mean, 99.9% is just positive and encouraging. And, I know that we've seen that at least on ours. How have you experienced that? I think you're probably in the same boat.
Well, 98% of the comments. I mean, I've had I've had my run-ins with the carnivore police,
Yeah.
but I've had some people that have said some crazy things, and I've had people say you shouldn't even be doing carnivore. I've had even people tell me like, and these are the minority. Like this isn't 99% of the people that watch your videos, but as your channel grows, you will have people that just come. You wouldn't believe what some people say, but I've had
Maybe.
people tell me that like I shouldn't document my journey on YouTube because I'm a bad look for the carnivore community. And I'm like, what should I do? Do you want me to just turn my camera off and not film at all and wait until I reach all my goals and then tell y'all about it? I'm like, no, I want to bring y'all along for this, and I want y'all to see the transformation, even if it takes a while. And I also want to document it for me because one day I want to go back and look at these videos. Like just then when you were showing me that video clip in the intro,
Yeah.
that motivates me seeing that video because I'm like, man, I remember that night when I was sitting out there on my back porch, and I
Yeah.
remember shooting that video and that fire that I had.
You could tell you were fired up. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that fire that I had, and I know that my fire is not quite where it was at that moment right now, but I want to get it back to that because I know it can get to. Actually, I know it can get beyond that, and that's what I want to work on getting to.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, it was fun. I got invited to the live stream on Carry on Homestead House on Saturday, and it turned into be a 3-hour live stream. We thought we were doing another 24-hour one there for a minute, but it was fun. We had a great time. But it was afterwards. We stayed on a little bit longer. I was on with Russ from Buckeye.
Ohio Buckeye.
Yeah, yeah, and he said something that really resonated with me because the hardcore carnivore purists, and it's fantastic, but you have to go back and take a step back and remember that when we first started talking about carnivore and somebody started talking to us about it, or we like when I share with my parents, their reaction was, this is crazy, y'all are crazy, this is nuts, why would you do that? And so you get to a place where I'm at right now, where it's like, okay, I get it, I know what carnivore is, I'm doing this, I'm rocking and rolling, but there are a lot of people out there that still are just like, you're crazy. So when you approach somebody else that way with, hey, this is easy, I got this is it's not. There's a lot of challenges, and there's so I think that's what we love about you, and just the realness is that hey, you're going to fall sometimes, you're going to make mistakes, and whether you choose to or you just do that, you got to get back up. I mean, you've seen the results, we've seen the results, we know what it can do. So we want to get fired back up and get back on it, and that's what I think the community is all about, and why we want to start doing more of these interviews. And just the way we've been involved in the community lately has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I disagree with that mentality that says, don't document your journey on YouTube, because I mean, that's how you reached out to me. That's how you know, kind of inspired me to keep going. I am inspired by people's stories, and if everybody got on here just at the end of their journey to share, you know, hey, look, I did it, right? Like, okay, great. That's not very motivational, right? You're living it and sharing that as you go. And I wish I had have documented more as I started, especially to go back on and understand my why. And I'm keeping going, and I love kind of the mentality that's out there right now of we need to be the example. We're not going to be pushy. I love the other night you said, you know, like smacking somebody upside the head with a piece of meat, like a Bible thumper or something, you know. But it's the thing, you want to, you know, shout it from the mountaintops, like, why aren't you joining in, guys? You know, but we just have to sit back quietly, lead by example, and do what we can to bring others to this healing journey.
Yeah, and the way I see it, like you're talking about the slapping them with the brisket or whatever. Uh, but I mean, like if I just yell it at everybody and just constantly like try to get everybody in my community on board or whatever, I mean, a lot of people are just gonna think, hey, he's a weirdo and like he won't be quiet about it and he's annoying us. But if I just be the example, and if they look at me 3 years from now and I got a Dr. Chafee body. Nah, probably won't have a Dr. Chafee body. But if I'm like healthy and I've only been eating meat for all this time, there's gonna be people that just come up and ask questions. There's gonna be people that's curious. They're gonna be like, dude, what are you doing? And it's not something that I had to beat them over the head with. It's just live the life. I mean, if they ask questions, definitely let them know. Like, don't be scared to let people know because I mean, the proof's in the pudding. You've got the results. I've got the results. We all know what it can do for you. So don't be worried about telling somebody, but you don't have to beat everybody over the head with it. Just be the example and try to help them whenever they want it. But a lot of times you'll know whenever people they're not ready to hear it.
Yeah. And you're so right. I cannot tell you how many people I have shared with because they come up to me who haven't seen me in a while and they're like, "Man, what happened to you?" Like that's the fun part of what I'm doing now. Now I think I've got to get better at my pitch in a way, and I've got to come up with some good ways of doing it because I just go too hardcore into it. And I think that's why what I said what I did when Russ said that, because I've got to remember that maybe I'm coming on too strong when I'm talking to people about it. But man, I love the fact that almost everywhere I go now, anybody run into, they're just like, "Man, what happened to you?" So it's fun.
Oh, dude, my first month when I first got some results and I felt better my first month, I felt, and nobody was making me do it, but I felt like a car salesman. Like I was going around telling people, "Look, you gotta try this." I'm talking about this is like a miracle.
Yeah.
And I was so blown away and I was wanting to just tell everybody. But the thing is, like, so many people are just so sick and the food that they've been eating and the thing, and they don't want to hear it because a lot of people, like, there's a meme going around right now talking about and y'all might have seen it. It's in the meme there's like a line of people lined up to get pills, and then there's a line of people that are supposed to be a line of people that want to change their eating habits, and the line with the people wanting to change their eating habits didn't have nobody in the line. And that's what it is people don't want to change what they eat. Most people just want, hey, I can, as long as I can keep eating what I want to, will you give me this medication that will make it better? And
Yeah.
because that's the easy way.
Just give me the
But
pill that makes it better, and then I can do whatever I want. Yep.
I
yeah,
actually
then I can do whatever I
reposted that on
want.
Facebook today. That same
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
but it makes sense. I mean, because everybody's standing in line to get the medication that'll make everything better. But a lot of people don't do the research on what all that medication does in the long run, and
Right.
like different things like statins and things like that, that they can mess you up. But I mean, people do it to try to help their symptoms or whatever. But I mean, the best
Well,
thing you can do
they're
is
safe
change
right
what you
now, but
eat. The best
yeah.
thing you can do is change your diet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No doubt. And that's where I ultimately end with when I'm doing the used car salesman pitch that I was talking to people. I said, hey, if there's anything you can do, consider getting rid of the processed foods, the sugars, because that's really what's killing America right now. It really
Absolutely.
is. Oh, it's hard to watch.
Yeah,
Now
and
that
even
now that
people
my
that
eyes,
don't go carnivore, like if you could just convince people to cut out carbs and sugar,
yep,
like if they can, like even if they do like a form of keto or something like that, or
yep.
or just lower carbs in general with less sugar, they're gonna see some results. Like they're gonna start seeing results because all that stuff is just it's destroying everybody's health. And we think it's normal because that's what we've been so used to or whatever. But like it's not normal. People for thousands and thousands of years, people did not have access to what we got now.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah,
Now you can run in any store you go in, everything's fake.
yep.
And they didn't have
Bioengineered.
fake food. They didn't have fake food back then.
That's right.
Like they had real food. You hunted, you even if you were a person that did get plants, like you might have got some type of plant or some berry or something like that, but you
Yeah.
didn't have access to what people do now. Like there was no
So,
such thing as a honey bun. And
no,
now they're everywhere and it's
well,
destroying our health.
the ground was more fertile, and so you didn't have to add all these extra fertilizers, as well as the bug cropping stuff that goes on all the plants we eat, all the other stuff that goes on to that. I mean, the chemicals, that's crazy,
Yep.
but totally agree. And that's that, I think the thing I've loved about carnivore though is that it's the extreme version of it, but you see the results so quickly when if you can do it and do it right for 30, 60, 90 days, man, how do you not see results? And that's what I think is so cool about it for anybody who's willing to give it a shot. If you can do it for dedicated and do it right for that short time period, then I don't see many people wanting to go back after you start seeing how good the results are.
Mhm.
I've changed my pitch a little bit too when I talk to people now because yes, I'm on carnivore, but yeah, I say paleo, keto, ketovore, carnivore. Any of them, find one that fits you. Even sea lion that you came up with, Kip. Like any of those, try one for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, see how you feel. And yeah, it doesn't have to be just carnivore, although that has certainly been the one that has changed our lives.
Yeah, carnivore is just like carnivore's getting it about as clean can be. The only way you can get cleaner is if you went with like line diet or something
Yeah,
like that, and you just took it straight to beef and salt or whatever, and that's fine if you want to do that. But there's no way that we could convince the entire population to do that because a lot of people are not going to be that everybody don't have the mindset that Dr. Chafee has.
yeah,
And, I wish that everybody did, but everybody don't. So for those that don't, if you have to tweak it a little bit and add some extra meat in there, or if you have to, on your version, if you have to add a little bit of seasoning or something like that, but like I would rather see you eat, you know, pork with some seasoning as long as it's sugar-free seasoning. I would rather see you eat that than to see you eat cornbread and mac and cheese and all those other things that we all grew up on because and at the end of the day you're still going to get a lot healthier. And even if you do keto and you add some Brussels sprouts or something like that, I mean, you're going to be way better off than 95% of the population just by doing those things.
Absolutely.
for sure. And I think that's where we've been. At least I know me. I haven't been 100. I've been very good about not cheating and crashing in a big way. But I've since day one, I've added extra seasonings in and done some things like that I didn't feel like were impacting me. I'm still a coffee drinker, which I said the other night, that is my plan to try and see. Now that I've gotten rid of so much, I want to see the difference it makes when I do stop coffee and see if I can tell a big difference or not, because I know that's kind of been debated a little bit, whether coffee's in or out for carnivores, and things like that. So,
Well, as your channel continues to grow, the carnivore police as somebody's going to eventually get you on the coffee. There's
yeah.
always one, buddy, that will
Well,
let you know.
well, and I love the fact that so many people also say that everybody's a little different, right? So that carnivore police comes at me, and I can then say, well, hey, I did it for 7 days. I got rid of coffee, and here's what I found. Or man, I felt so different, I didn't start it back again. Then I'll be right on board with you because it did impact me that way. But I'm
Mhm.
going to try it for myself and find out.
I don't have a problem with people that do drink coffee or whatever. I did quit drinking coffee when I started Carnivore, and it wasn't because of Carnivore. It was because I didn't drink that much coffee to begin with anyway. I probably only drank about 2 to 3 cups a week. So
Yeah.
I wasn't drinking coffee like every day. And so it was like it was just easy to quit it, you know. But my only thing is like I don't like feeling like I have to have something. Like I don't like because some people are like, "Hey, I have to have 6 cups of coffee a day or I can't function, or I
Yeah.
have to have my 4 cups of coffee or I can't make it through the day." And to me at that point, it's not just that you liking your coffee, like it's an addiction.
That's right.
And like that's where I'm like, for me, I just like I hate knowing that something's got that power over me. So I'm like, that's why that's the way I am with coffee. But I mean, for some people that it doesn't bother them, or they're perfectly fine being addicted to it. They're just like, no, I'm not quitting my coffee. That's my morning ritual, and it's not stopping. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be one of those things that hurts everybody by drinking coffee. But I do know that it's not like a requirement. You can be carnivore perfectly fine without it.
As
But
long as you're not putting a bunch of the fake creamers in it and things like that, then when we got a different story to tell. But
yeah, then you might as well just go to Starbucks and get a latte.
Right.
Or whatever, because I mean, whenever you go to adding all that other different stuff to it or whatever, you know, I mean, you could probably get by like if you wanted to add like heavy cream, maybe depending
Yeah.
on how you do with
Yeah, for heavy
carnivore
cream.
or how you do with low carb and everything. But some people, even heavy cream messes them up. Me, I have learned big time that cheese destroys me.
Really?
When
Yeah.
I have cheese, like if I don't have cheese for 3 months or 2 months, and then if I have cheese, I want cheese the next day and the next day and the next day. And about 4 to 5 days in, I want like not just cheese, I want cheesecake or something like that. Like I want to, and then I'm off the rails.
Wow.
You recently had a bout where you were off the rails a little bit, and you said your shoulder pain came back a little bit. How is your shoulder now? You've been a week or two now that back on.
Yeah, my shoulder pain has been getting a lot better, a
Good.
lot better. But whenever I go off the rails, guys, and there's been people that say, "Oh, it's not even he don't really do that. He's just making a video saying his shoulder hurts so that people will watch it." I'm like, guys, look, I don't even got time for the y'all. Like, I'm so busy with work and everything else that I don't got time to come up with these different things that y'all thinking I'm coming up with. I just shoot what's on my brain and I tell y'all what's been going on in my day. And whenever I cheat and whenever I go off the rails, my shoulder hurts. And my shoulder hurt bad for 3 or 4 years before I started carnivore. And about 2 to 3 weeks in, my shoulder pain went away.
Yeah.
And whenever I get off now, it's not like day 1 or day 2 of cheating. Probably around day 3, 4, maybe even up to day 5. That's whenever I start feeling it. And if I go off the rails for any longer than that, it starts getting worse and worse and worse. And eventually it's just like it was whenever because the most I've been off plan was like 2 weeks. I was off plan for close to 2 weeks, but then I got back on. And dude, by the end of that 2 weeks, it was like my shoulder was like it was whenever I started.
Wow.
I mean, it was bad. And I tell people now that like it's almost a good thing. I'm almost glad that it does that because it's a reminder. It's a reminder of what it was like before, and it makes me be like, hey, I know you might want to be off plan, or your cravings are telling you to get off plan or whatever. But when your shoulder starts hurting like it used to, that's a quick reminder that you need to get back on track.
Absolutely, because you know how you can feel.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. It's neat. That's been a cool thing for some people because they can see that and feel that difference. And I think once you get feeling so good and then you go backwards and you realize, wow, I forgot how good I was feeling. And people talk about that with the brain fog and some of the other stuff, that it's just like, wow, I forgot how bad I was feeling before. I've been feeling good for so long. And it reminds you of where you were at.
And another thing, I had forgot what it was like to have to take Tums after almost every meal. Like,
Mhm.
I forgot what it was like to, you get done eating and the food tastes amazing, but as soon as you scarf the food down, within a minute, you're already grabbing Tums because you know that within 20 to 30 minutes, your stomach's going to start hurting if you don't. And
Hmm.
so I would go ahead and I would eat, and the food would taste incredible. But then as soon as I got done eating, all I could taste was Tums because I'm sitting there eating Tums. And I had forgot about that. But whenever I get off plan for a week, or not even a week, a few days, within a few days' time, my stomach and everything all over again. And it's all the carbs and all the sugar and the pizza and pasta and all that. Because when I go off the rails, dude, I'm like some wild animal that they turn loose at the zoo.
Oh no.
Like, I'm standing underneath the chocolate fountain just taking it in.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, and that addiction side of it is a lot of people say that it's not or whatever, but for me, I'm not speaking for everybody, but for me, there's a battle there for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, you've seen a lot of success with it though, right? What's your when you were at your heaviest, what have you lost kind of total all the way through? Over
Well, I weighed 498 pounds. And total, I'd have to do the math, but I got down to 382 pounds.
Wow.
I could probably do that on my calculator.
Yeah. That's
It's a hundred and
118,
something.
116.
What's 498 minus what'd you say?
I said 116, am I right?
Yeah, 116 is total. And like I said, but the thing is, the 116, and I'm just being honest with you guys.
Yeah.
The 116 that's with me in the second half of this year not being as dedicated as I was in the first half.
Yeah.
Like, there've been times that, like, I'll do good for so many weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, and then fall off the rails. Do good for 3 or 4 weeks and fall off the rails, and I'm trying to get all that stuff figured out. I'm trying to find ways to learn those things that trigger me to where that doesn't happen as often. But like I said, that 116 pound, if I was as strict and as I was in the beginning, I'm there's no doubt in my mind that 116 pounds that I've lost would have probably been 175 pounds. It
Yeah.
probably would have been 175 pounds if I had got myself out of the way in those moments whenever, because there'd be times I'm driving down the road and, like, I'm thinking, like, I need to do good. I need to do good. And I'll be passing by some restaurant and I'll be thinking, turn in there, don't turn in, don't turn. And there's this battle going on in my mind. And
Yeah.
some days I would just cave and turn in and go to Sonic or something whenever I know I shouldn't do that.
Well,
So,
don't discount the 116. That's incredible. And really, I mean, you think about it from 8 months ago, if you had told yourself you were going to lose that much in the time frame that you started, I mean, come on, right? I mean, that's still phenomenal.
It's
yeah.
incredible.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. I'm definitely
You're
I'm
still a
definitely
draw
proud
there.
that
That's
I'm
for
not as
sure.
big as I was, but I know that I still got a ways to go, and I'm gonna get there. That's the thing, is, like, I'm gonna find the way to get there.
Yeah.
Like, it hasn't been pretty. It hasn't always been. I wish every video I come up with was like it always something good. Always, like, I lost 5 more pounds. I lost 3 more pounds. I lost whatever. But, like, I don't want to come on here and lie to anybody. And sometimes there's ups and there's downs or whatever. But I
Yeah.
know at the end of the day, over time, I'm trending in the right direction. It's just, it's not always fast. Like, it's not, I guess the word's linear. It's not just perfectly going straight down. Sometimes there's a few ups and a few downs, but eventually I'm slowly working down.
As long as it's going that direction the whole time, then yeah, you're having success. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's great. And again, that's what we kind of go to, is you've been inspiring us on that, even with the ups and the downs. So, because I think we can all be real with that. We both, when I know you have a faith background as well, and we
Oh
both
yeah.
we know that there's from our background in Christianity, we're never perfect, and and whether it's food or whether it's many other things that can bring us down. We all stumble, we all fall.
Yeah. I almost think, and I've never shared this with anybody on my channel, like my channel or whatever, but I almost feel like at some point, because I get frustrated with myself when I keep going around in circles, and I almost feel like at some point something's gonna snap in me that just says, no, this is what we're doing. Like I'm gonna end up doing something crazy. Like I don't know. I might just eventually and it might be the start of that might be my resolution for next year or something like that. I might do like a whole 6 months, absolutely no off plan anything. I don't know. I might just do something that I have never done before and challenge myself in a way that I never have to really, really get myself buckled down, because I've noticed whenever I get that tight for a month or a couple months, the cravings get less and less. Like the cravings for those other foods and things like that. And even like, because I would get to the point where I only drink plain carbonated water, not even lime flavored, not even anything. And when you do that for so long, the cravings for everything else just slowly fade away. And I guess I kind of would like to eventually get back to that point.
I found that the soda water plain, when I've been really good for a month and I just have plain soda water, I somehow get like a sweetness from it. It's plain soda water, but I almost taste a sweetness. And then I'm like, wow, I really can just drink this plain. Now, I say that I have a little.
Like it has something to it. What is that, Waterloo?
That's a Waterloo. Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever see, that's a lime Topo Chico, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And see, I love those too. But whenever I get to the point where I'm just drinking absolutely plain, no flavor, no nothing, I get to that point too of it tastes like it almost tastes like it's got like lime or something in it, even though it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like it tastes like there's a flavoring in it. And then if I don't have the flavoring for months and then I taste the flavoring, they're really strong to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I haven't had it in so long. So if I try to drink especially if I try to drink like a diet drink, because I hadn't drank that in so long, if I try to drink a diet drink, it's just like, oh no,
I can't do it. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah. And it used to be all day, every day.
Yep. And that's what it was. It was funny. I told you I had coffee, but that was originally is because I was so addicted to Dr. Pepper. And when I finally cut Dr. Pepper, I had to have something else to get rid, and I never liked coffee. It was funny. My wife thought I was crazy because all of a sudden I started drinking coffee, but I was like, I just needed something else to get rid of that Dr. Pepper. And now I got to get rid of the coffee. But the sugar cravings for me as a type 2 diabetic, that was a thing that I couldn't ever get rid of and get, whatever. And I feel like I'm to that stage. Like even this weekend, I had a kid sitting next to me. We were doing a training thing at our church, and had a kid sitting next to me. He's got a Kit Kat bar. He just has it open. It's sitting on the chair next to me. I just looked down. I actually took a picture of it. I thought, I can't believe I'm not even tempted at all to go up and get one of those myself, which is hilarious. I haven't been in that stage for a long time. Halloween, I think I posted or I said something. I made a comment maybe to you, Rhett, that I was like, this is the first Halloween that I can remember in my history that I haven't had a piece of candy. And that's never happened for me before. And so I love the fact that now that I'm to the point where I feel like those intense cravings that I used to have, I'll just have one little Halloween candy, and then I always turn it to 4 or 5 more, and then 3 or 4 more the next day. And it seems to be gone. I'm not struggling with it near as bad now, which is amazing.
Have you ever, because I know Rhett said he has, have you ever tried going unflavored everything for like a month?
No, that is the next. I actually, that's what I'm going to do to kick coffee. I'm doing Lion for 30 days. That's what I'm going to do. And I was trying to figure out in my head, all right, when am I going to
be ready? Lion's tough.
I'm calculating it, right? Because I'm like, okay, I got to have my smoked turkey for Thanksgiving. So I got to figure out that. And then we're going on a family vacation at the end of December. So I'm thinking that 30-day window right there, I may do strict Lion, but I'm going to do it.
I think I could do Lion, but my problem is, like, technically when you're doing Lion, you can only have salt. and I cook a lot of big pieces of barbecue on my smokers, and I cook
Yeah.
for not just me. Like, I'm not just cooking the briskets all the time just for me. Like, my family eat them too, and they're
Yeah.
so used to me making them. I don't put sugar on them, but I make them with like salt, pepper, garlic, and things like that. And like, if I just tell them, "Hey, I'm cooking up this brisket. Y'all gonna come over and we're gonna eat brisket tonight," and they're gonna be like, "It's just got salt on it." Like,
Yeah, true.
like, then like, what's the deal? And that's the thing. Like, it'd be one thing if they're cooking everybody a separate hamburger, and then I do mine my way. But when you're cooking like pork butts and big pieces of meat,
Yeah.
like, it's hard to do that unless you cook a brisket just for yourself and then a brisket for everybody else.
I'm not scared to do.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
I
it's
got
funny.
the room to do it. I just briskets, they're not cheap. They're not
No.
cheap. Well, they're
Well,
not
they
terribly
are.
expensive.
Depends on the month, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah.
I've been finding them pretty cheap right now, and I've actually, it's funny because I put this comment up here because we did a video here recently on how to do some smoked jerky that's sugar free, and the last batch that I did, just talking about what you're talking about there, I split it and I did some for my family. It's going to have some pepper, salt, and garlic on it. That's all the seasoning that I used, and then for me, I did just salt, and
So you've already switched to just salt?
so I've been doing just salt actually on my steaks. I actually like the flavor better. I have this secret recipe for my steak seasoning that everybody loves, and I've gotten to where I've had but one of each, and I like the one with the salt better. I don't know. My
Okay, so
taste buds
look,
have
if you're
changed.
going to that extreme, you might as well kick the flavored Topo Chicos away. You might,
That,
because you're so close.
that's
If
where I'm
you can
going.
get rid of, see, getting rid of seasoning was harder for me than getting rid of the flavored drinks.
Yeah,
Like, to me, it was easier to get rid of like the flavored drinks and just drink the plain uncarbonated water than it is to get. It's hard for me to give up black pepper.
yeah,
Like, I love it on stuff.
yeah. Me too.
I haven't been too. Yeah, I've been using seasonings for the most part. I try and avoid the ones with sugar,
Oh
which
yeah.
But I mean, in your experience, how much does seasoning really affect it? Is it you really need to stay away from it, or a little bit here and there? I know you barbecue a lot. Um, I don't know. I struggle to get rid of it entirely. But the other day I was using some garlic salt and I read the ingredients and there was sugar in it. I'm like, why is there sugar in garlic salt? That pissed me off.
Yeah, I would say you really, really have to just, like you said, read your labels and
Hmm.
see what's on stuff if you're getting different seasonings because there's so much hidden sugar in things. But when you're carnivore, I mean, you can. The technical definition of carnivore would not allow any seasonings
Right.
besides salt because I mean, like it comes from a plant, like pepper comes from a plant and things like that. But I'm not that carnivore.
Yeah, me neither.
Like I'm not that hardcore right now. Maybe one day I'll get to that point. And so I mean, I haven't had negative effects that I've been able to tell from having black pepper. Like if I have brisket cooked with salt, pepper, garlic. If I had that every day of the week, it wouldn't make me crave a Big Mac. But
Yeah.
if I have, you know, if I
Cheese.
start drinking flavored drinks or if I start eating cheese,
Yeah.
it will start triggering something in my brain that makes me have that. Like one time, I don't know if you've ever heard of Celsius waters, like
Yeah.
sparkling water.
Yeah.
Okay, I was super strict for like 3 months and I only had plain sparkling water for 3 months. I drank 1 Celsius, and the next day I went and got like a couple Celsius, and within like a couple days after that, I was already off the rails.
Mm.
And so that sweet like taste or whatever triggered, man, you remember how sweet things used to be? You
Yeah.
remember the sweet things, and then
Yeah.
it made me want it. But and it just and it ruined a lot of the results that I had for 3 months.
Even though it doesn't have any sugar in it, it's got the natural flavors, which you just don't know what that is. And something in that's triggering. Yeah.
Well, and I've talked to intentional carnivore about it a lot, and even Dr. Berry and different people have mentioned it at certain points that there's some science behind, and I don't know, I'm not a doctor, I don't know all the science behind it, but apparently there's some science behind even though it doesn't have sugar in it, it can still cause some type of an insulin response or like a trigger in your brain as if you had sugar, even though you didn't.
Yeah.
Which can also make it harder, make you burn fat slower, because anytime that's triggered, then you're going to burn fat slower. And and it also has been known to cause people to have cravings and things like that. So in a perfect world, I think more carnivores would be better off if they could if they could fight the urge and stay away from that stuff. But if that's the only thing keeping you from being carnivore, have your little drink or whatever. You know, I'm not saying don't have your
It's so
drink,
much
but
better
I
than
think you
before,
would be
right? Yeah.
better. I think you would be better off if you didn't have it.
Yeah. Well, I've committed at this point. I've seen such good results so far. I'm ready to go to the next level and give it a whirl again for 30 days. And the one thing I'm still not sure of, and why I haven't started just yet, is I still don't know about the egg piece of it. Like I don't, from the nutrient side of thing. But again, for 30 days, I'm thinking I'm ready to go for it. So that's the time frame I'm thinking.
Are you talking? What was you talking about? Eggs?
With the eggs, I love my eggs, but I also feel like I get a lot of the extra nutrients from the eggs. So, and I know you can get everything you need.
You don't have to. You don't have to do line diet to be healthy, though. Like you can. Line diet was like created to like help you get like if you're having reactions, it's to eliminate everything to where if you do add something back in, you can see if that's a trigger. But you can't tell me that people weren't gathering when they were gathering stuff years ago, that they didn't find no quail eggs, or they didn't hunt for bird eggs and things like that. Or if they didn't have chickens, they got eggs. Like people been eating eggs for a long time. That's the reason that I added seafood to the line diet and said, hey, I'm going to include seafood, because how long do you think people been fishing? Like, like in the Bible times, like remember whenever Jesus told Peter and them to come be fishers of men? Before that, they was out there, they were fishing on the sea.
Yeah.
And like, so people been fishing for a long time.
Oh yeah.
But and there's some people that get into line diet that they get so into it that they think that like if it's not line diet, then it's no longer carnivore or no longer good. And I'm like, I don't know. I can understand that there's some things that aren't very clean at all. Like, I mean, which I'll eat some of them things in a pinch, like Wiener sausages is a processed thing, and I don't think it's the best thing for you.
Yeah.
But I think it's better for you than having a donut or something like that. But I mean, line diet is good, but they might have had fish or something like that, or salmon or shrimp or some other, you know, or chicken and things like that. So I don't know if you got to go to the extreme of line diet. I mean, you can if you want to, but you might not have to go that far.
I think it's more of a want to for me just to do it. But I'm right there with you. The fish especially, you know, and obviously you want to stay away from the farm raised if you can, but and get the natural caught. But still, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, because even a fish, if it's a wild caught fish, you could almost argue that it's better than most of the hamburgers that people are eating. Because a lot of what people and I love the taste of grain fed better than grass fed because that's what we're used to. But even Dr. Berry would say that grass fed is technically a little bit better for you, maybe like 5% or something like that. It's not way better, but it is a little bit better for you. But you're talking about most people eating a grain fed burger versus you eating wild caught salmon, like the way it was intended to be caught. Yeah. So, I mean,
I'm here in salmon country, Kipp, and yeah, I mean, in the spring when we get out there and catch a spring salmon, there's nothing better than throwing that on the barbecue. A little bit of salt is all it needs. There's so much fat in their natural oils that you don't even need anything else. It's so good. And I'm not even a huge seafood eater myself, but when I catch a spring salmon, you better believe I'm dipping into that.
And there's some people that feel like that because it's not a ruminant animal, that it's not good for you. And I'm just like, dude, you've gone too far if you think that. People think about the Eskimos. They're out here eating whale blubber and things like that. And like, you're telling me that I can only eat a cow?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
No,
I want to try a lion diet for like 90 days or something like that. And so I'm not anti-lion diet. I want to experiment and do different things, but I don't never want to get in a mindset that I think that one way is the only way that it could be done.
yeah. Well, and I think for that's it's also the very, very few extreme people that it really does benefit that, like a Michaela Peterson, or where
Absolutely.
like she had to go to that extreme to get rid of all the other conditions and things that she saw, but that's not the majority of people at all. So yeah, no, more of it's the mentality of me is I'm ready to kick coffee, and that's how I was going to force myself to do it, because I'm going to go on to, okay, here's the extreme, here's what I'm going to do. But I think my version of the lion is going to be include eggs as well. Like eggs and butter are still going to be on there.
Just do BBB and E.
There you go.
I
Hey,
mean,
you're back to carnivore.
only thing you're missing is bacon, buddy.
Oh man, I carry my big bag of bacon everywhere I go. I do. I have a Ziploc bag of bacon. The guys at work just laugh at me, but I always have that with me, because that's, I have my little egg sandwich or whatever in the morning with some bacon. You guys mind if I get off topic for a minute?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Kipp, I wanted to ask you, you've been a lifelong Alabama fan, right? So just
all through and through.
Do you have like a favorite memory, a favorite moment, or and a favorite player over the years that you just adore?
Yeah, my favorite Alabama player of all time, which I know there's the greats before my lifetime, like Joe Namath and different people, Kenny Stabler. There were some Bart Starr. There were different players that were like really good. But in my lifetime, my favorite player, he was labeled as the game manager, and it was AJ McCarron. Like AJ McCarron, when he was at Alabama, he was not very good at all. He was not very talented, not very anything. He was a mediocre quarterback, but he knew how to lead the team well. He knew how to win the locker room over, and he knew how to win games. Like, people labeled him, oh, game manager, game manager. I mean, you can manage the game all day long as we win it and you win another championship.
That's right.
Game manager.
And that's exactly what he done. He won multiple championships for us, and he couldn't run the ball to save his life. It was like watching Tom Brady try to run. He could not run the ball. He couldn't pass as good as Tom Brady either. Like, so, but he just made it work, and he would hand the ball off to his running backs a lot. But just the way he was in the community, the way he helped a lot of people, and he was very, very big on like helping like cancer patients and doing things for them and stuff for people. So like just the way that the type of person that he was, that's one of the things that made me really like him, because a lot of them, they say it, but like he was big on actually getting out and doing things for people.
Nice. Very cool.
That's great. Hey, you said something that I did a Dr. Barry finger on, because it reminded me. So don't let me forget before this is over. I want to show a little trailer for an upcoming video that I want to promote as much as possible on cancer. I'll have to cue it up here in a second, but yeah, we've been so inspired by the Homestead How, and what the carnivore community is doing, and the diet documentary, which is now, you haven't heard, Healing Humanity is the name of it. Mm-hmm. And tomorrow Carrie releases a video they've been doing, and it's on cancer, and they did a roundtable, and I'm telling you, the trailer he put out, I can't wait to see this full video. But I don't know if you guys have seen it yet or not, but
yeah, I have.
I'll cue it up here in a second, so we can show that, and maybe we end with that here in a little bit. But not that I'm ready to go, but I can't believe it's already been 55 minutes. Just about. It's crazy.
Yeah, we really want to be respectful of your time, Kipp. We should really appreciate you spending an hour with us, and know how busy you are.
Well, hey, look, absolutely, guys, and I can't wait to see the thing at the end. But also do remember that, like, y'all can message me again, and we can do this again too. Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know if I can actually do that. I was going to try and do it from the YouTube video and play that, but I don't know that I can actually do that from this. So, and it wouldn't let me load the link before we got on here, unfortunately. So I may not be able to share it.
We can just do a shout out.
I definitely will, because Carrie did put it on there, and I will shout it out there. Let me pull the name of it up just so for those who may be watching. And if you haven't, it's gonna be live tomorrow. But it's the cancer breakthrough, how metabolic therapy is changing lives. And he does this with Dr. Seafried, and he's the one who's been doing these and having incredible success with those who are on a ketogenic or carnivore type diet, and in combination with the chemotherapy treatments. And nobody's saying that is the only way to do it, and you should be on, if you want to get rid of cancer, be on a carnivore keto. But they're seeing incredible success, and they can't really get that out, that the keto and carnivore diet seems to be having a great success with the cancer treatments, and the chemotherapy reacts way better and responds way better when you're in ketosis. And so I'm excited to see this, because I think everybody knows somebody who is a family member or friend who is suffering from cancer, or if they don't now, they will soon, because it's just that prevalent in America. So I think this is an important message to get out. And so we definitely want to promote it, and I'll be promoting it on our channel. And I'm sorry I couldn't pull up the trailer, but that's something we will definitely link to and make sure we kind of highlight a little bit more on our channel.
Yeah, and hey, look, Carrie, I greatly appreciate Carrie and what he does. Like, not only the carnivore diet documentary and all that stuff, like, he puts in a lot of time on a lot of projects, and it's all to help different people. Like, some of them, it might be somebody that has tons of subscribers, and sometimes it's somebody that doesn't have tons of subscribers, because he just cares about helping people. And I give him a hard time. I like to pick at Carrie a lot, and I always pick at him about because he's been trying to learn how to cook a ribeye recently, and he's been trying different things, and he did his little video about, I made the perfect ribeye. And I pick at him, and I text him, and I say, look, you're trying, you still can't do a ribeye like me.
Oh, we need to have a ribeye cook-off.
Yeah, I've gave Carrie some pointers, and he actually he won't admit it, but some of the stuff he does when he cooks a ribeye is stuff that I've talked to him about. But I've told him, I said, Carrie, I still got a couple tricks up my sleeve that you don't know about.
So did you teach him the trick about putting it on the grate? Because I know there's a opinion on that one.
Was that your tip?
What are you talking about? The elevating it after you get done cooking it?
When you rest it, yep.
I don't remember if I told him that, but I definitely knew that before me and him become friends. I can't remember if it was me that told him that, but I've told him different tricks along the way and how to sear it. Because I mean, whenever we first did because me and him did a ribeye cook-off like months ago, and he almost set his smoker on fire whenever he was trying to compete with me. And I told him from the get-go, because I used to own the same smoker he had. I told him, I said, Carrie, that ain't the right smoker to do that with. And he was trying to do it anyway. And it was a blast, but I was worried. I was like, Carrie, you about to catch your grill on fire, man. It's about to be on fire right here on YouTube.
Yeah.
But
I've learned that the hard way myself.
I gave him some pointers. What was you saying?
Made that mistake.
I don't do high temp cooks on my smoker anymore. I learned that it is not meant for that. Even though it goes up to that temp, you don't need to do it.
The pellet grills, they have this thing where they tell everybody, the companies tell everybody, we'll do 500, we'll do 600, we'll do 700 degrees. Nope. They're not made for that. I don't care if they say it. I don't care if they have because I used to have one of those Yoder smokers, and it has a little heat diffuser where you can pop the door open and you can cook right over the flames. Yeah, you only gonna do that a couple times, and one day you gonna make a bad mistake, and it's not designed for that. If you're gonna do that,
clean smoker, it's got to be clean.
Yeah, it's got to be very, very clean, and honestly, it's not worth it. You're gonna burn up your thermometers and stuff that's on the inside of there, because it's just not made for that. It's made to smoke meat low and slow.
Yeah, agreed.
But I mean, if you wanting to reverse sear and stuff, either get you a charcoal grill or just like if you want to smoke it on your Yoder and then you want to sear it at the end, fire up you another little grill at the end and do that. That's what I was. Well, in that video, I was showing him how I had my steak low and slow on one side of my charcoal grill, and I had wood over there with it to give a little wood smoke flavor. And at the end, then I put it straight over the coals to sear it at the end. And he was like, "Oh my gosh, how are you going to sear?" I'm like, "Dude, it's just a reverse sear." And he was flipping out.
Yeah. Nice.
Look,
I do that now. I reverse sear on my on a cast iron inside now. I just take it off the grill at about 110, 115, and then I finish it off in the cast iron.
Apex
like
calling you
cast
out
iron
for your
too.
secret there. He's calling you out for your secret there, not sharing everything, you know. That's
Oh
funny.
yeah, he said taught him everything he knows, but not everything you know. Yeah, you have to keep a couple tricks up your sleeve.
That's right.
Yep. There you go. Well, hey, I think I figured it out. So I'm gonna try and present this. Let's see if it works just real quick. I think it's pretty short. Well,
All right.
and then if you want to jump back on, then we'll wrap it up. But thanks again for being on here, and let's see if we can get this screen share to work. I think I can do it this way, but if it doesn't, this will be short lived. Let's see. I think it's this one right here. Here we go. Yeah, you guys see that?
Mhm.
Yep.
Like my liver's fully covered, so they've deemed me inoperable, incurable.
Oh,
Nope. Disappeared.
I closed the wrong one. Rookie over here.
I still am not a professional with StreamYard.
I closed it out. All right, we'll go back to plan one. We'll post it. We'll post it later. I had it for a second, and then now it's gone. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're over an hour anyway, so we got it. Well, I know you got plenty to do. Last thing we'll have to get to together later because I need some work on my background, and your background's awesome. I got to help. I was just telling Rhett, I got to work on getting some lighting or something going on there. It looks awesome back there.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. It's just a regular white wall, but I have like a couple lights behind me glaring on the wall, and I think it makes it look a little bit better.
It looks great, very professional, yeah.
And I've always loved the sign behind you too. The fat in my family tree ends with me. I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
My wife made that for me like a couple months after I started, and I don't know, that sign means a lot to me. I wouldn't sell that sign for $100,000. Well, unless she made me another one, then I would.
That was duplicate.
Nice.
Well, we so much appreciate you being on. Keep putting out your videos and keep being real, and we'll be right there in your corner supporting you. And we anytime that we can encourage you. I know I sent a video early on and had a verse in there that hit me that night, and your video came up the next day, and I shouted you out. Whether you saw it or not, I don't know, but it was a verse in Romans that tells you to keep pressing on, and that was it. Just made me think of you and Bill Knott at the time. I was like, man, press on, guys. We got this. We can do it. So you
absolutely. And I love Bill Knott too. He's such an inspiration to me. And
keep him in your prayers.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been worried about him lately with everything that he's got going on, but also I wanted to let Rhett know before we leave. I watched a little bit of that game last night with the Cowboys, and I'm sorry for you, brother.
Billy.
Look, it had to take an ex-Alabama quarterback to do it, right?
Hey, that's okay. You know, I felt like it was a fantastic game. I felt like there were some calls that were missed, but you know, Philly is a fantastic team. They are a Super Bowl contender, and we were toe to toe with them away from home. And it was, I thought it was game of the year so far. It was a phenomenal game.
Oh, it lived up to the hype for sure. I was interested in that game, and it was just, it was good. Dak's just got to get a little bit better at knowing where the sideline is. Because I mean, he had the potential of staying in bounds.
Yeah,
I don't even think he was looking down.
No, he was stretching the ball out and not paying attention to the feet.
He thought he had it. Yeah.
Well, they say it's a game.
It was a good game, and like you can't pick a better team to lose to, because that team that y'all lost to is a very talented team. I mean, it's not like y'all lost to just anybody. Y'all lost to a really good team.
Yeah. And we get them again at home, and then probably again in the playoffs. So it's not over yet.
Yeah. I'll let them have this one. they say it's a game of inches, and there was about 3 inches in that game. 3 different opportunities they had to make one more inch, and they would have been right there. But
See,
that was
one thing.
close.
See, I'm a huge college football fan, and one thing that I love about college football is you don't usually get that second and third chance. Like in college football, it's all about that game. Like if you lose to that team,
Yeah,
that's it. If you're the only way you might get to play them again is if you luck up and get in the playoffs. Then you might get to. But every game, like right now, Alabama, we're outside looking in because I'm a diehard Alabama fan. We're on the outside looking in because we lost our second game of the year. We lost our second game of the year, and that one game right there can keep us out of the playoffs. Even if we do win out, we still don't know what's going to happen.
Yep.
You know, Kipp, I would watch more college football, but when I got married, my wife said pick one, Saturday or Sunday, because I get one and you get one. So being a diehard Cowboys fan growing up, I stuck with NFL, and I'm okay with that. I watch a few college games with my son every once in a while. We're Texas Tech guys.
I heard that. Red Raiders.
Yeah. My grandpa was a huge Texas Tech fan, and we were born in Lubbock, and so we have a little bit of a tie there.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Hey, pleasure spending this time with you, Kipp. We really appreciate
Thank you. And we know you're busy, so we do thank you for taking the time out and continue making your videos. We're gonna continue watching and supporting. And if anybody who's watching it from our channel and doesn't know who Carnivore Kipp is, you better check him out because he's got some awesome videos on his channel at Carnivore Kipp. So
yeah, and I just want to say to your audience tonight, thank y'all for watching. And for any of y'all that are watching on their channel right now, if you haven't subscribed to their channel, go ahead and do them a favor and subscribe, because that will help them tremendously, and it'll help them get this message out to more people that carnivore can change your lives. And thank y'all so much for having me on tonight, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Kipp.
Absolutely.
All right. Bye for now, guys.